When it comes to being an NBA player and wanting to be known as one of the best, one of the biggest things that people look at is your legacy and what you accomplished in your career. To be one of the greatest, you have to have a resume that is second to none and have done things that others have not been able to do. Only a select few have a resume that is untouchable and has made them legends, and no one can refute that. But this player was someone who was constantly given criticism, and many questioned his greatness. The player that we are talking about today is...
Side not to use it, Curry, way downtown, bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry! Right now, Steph Curry is the best player on the planet.
Going head to head with Steph, what was that like?
It's honestly hell.
Deli almost died guarding Steph Curry.
He plays the game at a level that I haven't seen anyone play the game.
There's a serious calmness about him, which is extremely deadly.
He's an alien.
This motherfucker don't miss.
He's good.
When he get out his car, you better guard him right from the moment he pulls up to the arena. You might want to guard him when he get out of the bed.
Parking dick.
Swear to God.
Stephen Curry would become one of the best players to play in the NBA. He, alongside LeBron James and Kevin Durant, were the best to play in that era. But many doubted his ability to even become one of the best in the world, as he would suffer injuries in his past that made many question what he could be. But he made many people believe that the game could be elevated to that level. Of course, like others, he would fall short and have his failures, and his biggest failure was the 2016 after leading his team to 73 wins, having the perfect season, and was one win away from having the greatest season a player has ever had, and he fell short on the biggest stage. And many held that against him, but he was able to recover and win multiple championships after that moment. And at the time of 2018, he was a 3-time champion and was climbing up the ranks as one of the best players the game has ever had. His resume was pretty stacked, but there was one award that he was lacking that others had that catapulted them into legendary status. And that award was a Finals MVP is an award that many see as the ultimate prize along winning an NBA championship. Many players who have won that award were either the best player in that series or the most important player to that team winning it all. Many have won, and some have won it more than others. But for Stephen Curry, he was never able to get that honor. In 2015, he lost the chance to his teammate Andre Iguodala, and many believed that Iggy was the more important player than Steph. In 2016, if the Warriors hadn't lost and they won in Game 7, Draymond Green probably would have won the Finals MVP over Stephen Curry. Then it got a lot harder for him, as the Warriors would gain Kevin Durant, and he would win both awards in 2017 and 2018. Some could argue that in 2018, Stephen Curry had the better series, but Game 3 was the one game that basically ruined all of his chances of winning that award. While Curry was winning championships, that award he did not have was being held against him, and many refused to put him higher in the ranks because of it. But to Curry, he did not care at all. All he cared about was winning, and he wanted to do whatever was necessary to keep winning more championships.
You guys live in a world where accolades are always the way people are defined. You've now played 4 straight finals, brilliantly at times, and still without a finals MVP. And I get the sense that you could care less. How is it that you could care less, and what does it say about the locker room unselfishness that permeates the franchise, and how did that happen?
Individual accolades they're awesome, and they're when you get to experience what that feels like, and it's kind of a validation of all the hard work that you put into it. And I can go in the locker room right now and look every one of my teammates in the face and have that sense of pride of, what I was able to do out there on the floor and how I can help, my team win a championship. That's all that matters to me.
The Warriors in the 2018-19 season were on the hunt of winning another championship and becoming one of, if not the greatest dynasty the NBA has ever seen. Golden State would make it back to the NBA Finals despite having some bumps in the road and some challenges to overcome. Even with KD being out after the second round against the Rockets, the Warriors proved that they were still a championship contender and sweeping the rest of the competition. Their opponent would be the Toronto Raptors, and many had the Warriors as the favorites to win this series despite not having Kevin Durant. This was Curry's chance at getting his Finals MVP and finally being seen as the undisputed best in the world.
Iguodala throws it to Green, he catches it, back to Curry, puts up a 3. One goal! There's a new NBA champion, and it's a team from Toronto, Canada. We the North are now we the champions, the Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
This was the lowest point Stephen Curry has ever been in. He lost 2 of his teammates in the NBA Finals and was now 3-2 in the NBA Finals as well. But most of all, everyone who had something negative to say towards his legacy were loud and clear, and they were reveling in it.
What did we learn about Steph Curry during these finals?
I didn't learn much.
Was I surprised he took the last shot and missed it? I knew he was going to miss the last shot. He has not shown in his career that that shot is for him in the finals.
Yeah, I'm extremely disappointed because I set the bar even before he got drafted way up here, and he is way under my bar.
I feel like we give him a lot of passes. I feel like it's unfair because any other superstar in the league don't get as many passes as Steph Curry. I mean, what's this, the 5th finals?
Yeah.
And, you know, he have yet to really show up.
That is the downside of being loved and being propped up by many. Because when you fail, that is when the haters start to come out and they start to speak louder than others. This would sadly carry over into the next season, as he would be out for the majority of the 2020 season with a broken hand. And with him being out, many started to stray away and give their attention to another player. And his name was Damian Lillard.
Lillard draws a foul and puts it in. Lillard, long three is up and in.
Come on.
Damian Lillard.
Minute and a half to play. That's a bomb.
Oh
my gosh.
Pretty shot. Lillard, 30-footer is in. 6 of 9. Oh my
Look
goodness.
at this shot by Lillard.
Goodness. That was from the NBA logo.
Hey, Steph.
How do you like that three?
Steph,
what, 36 feet?
I don't think you could shoot as deep as him, Steph. I got to see it when you come back.
Is Dame the top point guard in the league?
Yes, he is. Steph Curry showed the way, but Damian Lillard saw that. He's shooting from a million miles away and hitting, and is completely unstoppable offensively. Is his game still ascending where Curry's has plateaued?
Even Dame felt that now with Curry not having a super team, it was not going to be as easy as it was.
You know, he's saying that it's tough to get those quality looks right now. You know, it's different than what it's looked like, you know, over the last 4 or 5 years for him. So you don't really have that luxury to just like take one from that deep, you know, just to be taking it.
Little did he know that Stephen Curry would end up having the best season of his career and leading the league in scoring for the second time in his career as well. And to add a cherry on top, guess who he dropped 62 points on? It was against Damian Lillard. Curry was back to his MVP self and would carry a lot on his shoulders to win an NBA championship, and he would have to do it without his running mate Klay Thompson, who was out for even longer after tearing his Achilles along with his ACL. The Warriors made it all the way to the 7th seed, but because of the new rules, they had to participate in the new play-in tournament. Their matchup was against the Los Angeles Lakers, who were the defending champs, and this was their chance to get one up on LA. It would be a close match, and it would go down to the wire, until it all came crashing down.
James, 2 defenders on him to Caldwell Pope inside. He's tied up by Green. Throws it back up top. James puts up the 3. Oh, it's gone! LeBron James from downtown! That's it! The Lakers are in the playoffs. The Warriors need to play on Friday.
However, the Warriors would have another chance at making the playoffs, as they would play in the second play-in game against the Memphis Grizzlies, who were an upcoming team in the West, led by Ja Morant, and they were hungry, but so were the Warriors, and this would be yet another close game that would head into overtime, and the outcome would be yet another disappointment.
The last second, 4 to shoot. Morant makes his move, spins in the paint, turns, puts it up, puts it in! Ja Morant knocks it down! It's a 5-point game with 4.5 remaining. The Memphis Grizzlies are in the playoffs. They eliminate the Golden State Warriors. And the Grizzlies will now play the Jazz in the first round starting on Sunday.
It was a special year, all things considered. And a new experience for me, Draymond Loon. Tried to make the most of it, come back, bottle this up, everybody make the right strides, take advantage of the summer, and you don't want to see us next year.
The 2021-2022 season was underway, and the Golden State Warriors were still recovering from their loss in the play-in. We were heading into a new era. We were getting new champions year after year, and with many teams getting stronger, people were ready to forget about Golden State.
How many titles do you see Steph Curry winning over the next 4 years?
I don't see the Golden State Warriors bringing home another championship.
It's over for them now. We will never see Steph in another NBA Finals, ever. They have no path forward.
The door is closed. It is just the reality of the league that we all love and consume insatiably. All 3 of the guys that are at the center of what the Warriors have done have missed notable amounts of time with injuries.
Golden State would open the season playing the Los Angeles Lakers, and they would now have a big 3 after acquiring Russell Westbrook, which many saw them as the next super team in the NBA. But Steph would spoil Russell Westbrook's debut as he dropped a triple-double and would start the season 1-0 against LA. The next game, he would go ballistic and drop 45 points against the Los Angeles Clippers. It was hitting multiple clutch shots that sent the crowd into a frenzy. He would then proceed to drop 50 points against the Atlanta Hawks. And then before you know it, the Warriors were 18-2 in the West and were a top 2 team in the NBA behind the Phoenix Suns. And people were starting to take notice and start to remember how deadly the Warriors were, especially Curry. But there was a particular milestone that he was nearing close to, and it was the all-time three-point record. A record that was set by the great Ray Allen, who was known as the greatest shooter ever. He was 2 threes away from breaking the record, and the next game on the schedule was against the New York Knicks, a city that Curry was far too familiar with, and he would proceed to break the record in the same arena that made him a household name all of those years ago.
I can't even remember. Curry lets it fly. Oh, and there it is, right away. He has tied Ray Allen. 1 down, 1 to go. Running it from the start, Wiggins again. Here's Curry for the record. It's good, and there it is. Stephen Curry, the all-time three-point king in the NBA. Three-pointer, number 2974, the man who changed the game, the igniter of the three-point revolution in the NBA, and now he stands alone at the top of the three-point list.
Steph Curry is the greatest shooter God ever created.
Amen.
I've said that on many occasions.
Steph has definitely changed the game. You know, he still has 4, 5, 6 years left. By the time he's done, his record will not be broken.
He changed the way we watch the game. He changed the way the game is played. He's revolutionized the game.
Golden State was continuing to have a great season, and they were racking up wins and getting higher in the standings. And they would be joined by a former Warrior as Klay Thompson would officially return and give life to this team. Everything was going good until the rug was pulled from under, and it would affect Golden State in a tremendous way.
Woj, it's been a little over 2 weeks, right, since we saw Steph Curry strain a ligament in his left foot. Is there any update on when he might return?
Malika, the Warriors just announced that Steph Curry will be out the rest of the regular season.
Are the Warriors' titles hopes over?
Hell yeah, they over. With Steph Curry being injured and not coming back into the playoffs, then yes, I strongly believe that the Warrior title hopes are done for this season, period.
Just like that, after all the hype that this team was getting, they were once again being doubted, and they were back to being the underdogs with something to prove. The Warriors, however, would remain one of the best in the West and would get the 3rd seed, and just in time, as Steph would return to the team, it would send a message to the entire NBA that a reckoning was coming.
And Curry. It's 3rd quarter. Curry. And he's fouled. And a chance at 4 for Stephen Curry. Now they corral Curry with the double. Got it! 4 on the floor for Steph. Curry, a 3. Is good.
He'll wait for his teammates. Now Steph back. Splash!
3. Steph got it! To pick up Looney.
Curry through traffic. Curry with a foul. Finney-Smith defends. The bump. Got it! Foul! He's back. They're on their feet, and their Warriors are going to the NBA Finals again.
For the 6th time in his career, he was back in the NBA Finals, after many doubting that he could even get to this point. He was able to prove once again that he can lead a team to the promised land. He may have won with Kevin Durant, but the Warriors were able to make it to the Finals 3 times without him. And the only question was, could he do it again? And that question was going to be a very big one, because the team that they were facing on the other side were hungry and they were ready to finally claim their prize. That team was the Boston Celtics, who were led by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and they were ready to finally get what was theirs after falling short so many times and not getting their chance at the Larry O'Brien trophy. They clawed their way to getting to the finals and were determined to win, and they were backed by a lot of people as they saw them as the favorites to win the championship, which was pretty shocking to say the least, because this was their first time in the finals. The analytics at ESPN gave the Warriors a 14% chance, but this was it. This was Curry's chance, and everyone knew it. Even Steph knew that he needed to win this series. This could be his defining moment, that all the greats before him have been in where they finally reached that level of being an all-time great. Golden State would start off game 1 with a bang early, and Steph especially was having himself a game dropping 21 points in the first half, and they were running away with this game at the start of the third quarter. But then the Celtics would rally back, and they took over and dominated the rest of the game, winning game 1 and spoiling the 34-point performance by Steph. The Dubs would bounce back, however, in game 2, and Steph would have another great game dropping 29 points. Now the Dubs had to go all the way to Boston, which was an arena that was very loud and tough to play in. And in game 3, the Warriors learned that the hard way. The Celtics were firing on all cylinders, and they were overwhelming Golden State the entire game. Steph and the Warriors did manage to bring the game close at some points, but the Celtics ran away with the game. However, there was a moment in the fourth quarter where Steph would suffer an injury, and many were questioning if he was going to play the rest of the series. But regardless, the series was now at 2-1, and the Celtics were on the verge of going up 3-1, and this was a dire moment for the Warriors, especially Steph. The last time the Warriors were down 2-1 in the finals, they would go on to lose back in 2019. This was a series that had too much on the line, and everyone was wondering how was Steph going to respond heading into game 4.
I'm going to play. That's all I know right now.
Are the Warriors done?
Yeah, they done. Boston is putting so much pressure on Golden State right now, man. Can't nobody guard nobody. The Golden State Warriors cannot stand in front of anyone on the Boston Celtics.
This is an enormous test for the Golden State Warriors, and this is a must-win game. I don't think Boston, with this defense, is losing 3 games in a row.
They pretty much need him to be 100%, right, if they want a chance to win this series.
We've seen Steph Curry win championships. We've seen him in big-time playoff games. But there is something about the clutch gene for me.
But there isn't a single finals where you're like, wow, Steph really elevated his game. There's only one truly great finals game, and it's a game they lost.
White closes out. Curry drives. High off the glass. It's way back in 2002 on the follow. Curry, another long-distance shot. It's good. Steph Curry. Back-to-back long-distance threes and a 5-point lead for the Warriors. Looking to post up Tatum. Curry launches a 3. It's good. Steph Curry with his third three-pointer on the boards. Curry. It's good. Steph Curry from downtown. Curry to Payton. Payton had all the time in the world. Curry three-pointer. Puts it in.
And maybe some second shots.
Curry again. Oh, Steph Curry from way downtown. He's furious. There was contact there. Smart harassing. Curry now has Williams on him, looking to unload it. Flips it up. Shot is good. Steph Curry dancing, prancing, and puts it in. Back to Curry. Step back. Three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry drills the 3. The NBA Finals are tied at 2 games apiece as the brilliance of Steph Curry on full display here in Boston.
What are you feeling right now?
A lot of pride in our group. A lot of talk over the last 48 hours about how we can get back into the series. And been here 6 times. You got a lot of experience in terms of just staying composed, confident in what you can do. But to win on the road and get home court advantage back, big for this group.
This was not supposed to happen. The Celtics were in this game and had all the momentum, and it collapsed right in front of them. This is what carried over into Game 5 at the Chase Center, where the Warriors were on a roll again. And this time, Steph was not the one leading the charge. It was Andrew Wiggins. Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole would also aid Wiggins, but he especially was the standout of the game, and he was able to shut the Celtics down on both offense and defense. Golden State was now 1 win away from being crowned champions, and they had to do it in Boston once again.
I would argue the pressure's on Steph Brew, but if he has a mediocre game today and they lose, that Game 7 pressure is going to be, I don't want to say unlike anything he's ever faced, but when he's faced it, he hasn't been amazing. They haven't faced a lot of adversity, Brew, in the finals. But when they have, he hasn't delivered his best moments. So I think there's pressure on him just to avoid the Game 7. I think there's a lot more pressure on Steph.
Curry takes him off the dribble, gets inside, layup is good. Oh, what a beautiful move from Curry. Curry to Payton. three-pointer, right side is good. Already here in the first half. Curry sees some room, nails a three. Steph Curry, his second three-pointer. Had a good game 5, but an excellent start here in 6. Steph Curry once again dancing and prancing in the paint. 4 rebounds so far. Curry sidestep, wide open 3. Got it. Curry sidestep, three-pointer. It's good. 6 assists for Green. Curry a long 3. It's good. Steph Curry from way downtown. Some Curry chaos here on the third. Curry against Horford, gets past him inside, off the glass again. Curry gets it, fakes, fires, three-pointer. Bang! Steph Curry from downtown, a 15-point lead.
I'm watching Steph Curry crying and laughing. Sometimes it gets so good that you have to do both. He's earned this moment.
And the emotions just pouring out. It might be his 4th, but it means so much. All the sacrifice, all the work. And that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The 4th title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
Congratulations. You are the 2022 NBA champion. He's a 4-time NBA champion, a 2-time league MVP, a member of our 75th anniversary team. The 2022 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP award goes to Stephen Curry.
Cheers, baby! What are they gonna say now? What are they gonna say now?
Every player in their career has had their moment where it was their time to take over. So many legends had a moment where their legacy was on the line, and they responded in the best way possible. Stephen Curry was in a similar situation to a player that many compare him to, Kobe Bryant, who was a player that was constantly being compared to Jordan, and many saw him as one of the best in the NBA, but people held him not having a Finals MVP in his resume against him constantly, and because he had Shaq as his teammate, many saw that maybe he was the one getting carried by Shaq, and he had to prove that he can win as the guy on the team. And he was able to lead his team to the finals 3 times and win 2 of those 3 times. Steph was in the same boat. Was it fair that he was getting accused of not being clutch in the playoffs, especially the finals? No. But did he need a Finals MVP to finally prove that he can win? Yes. This was something that he really needed to finally put himself up there with the best of the best. Without this award, no one was going to take him seriously, especially as being a top 10 player all time. After everything he went through after 2019, the injuries, the upsets, the doubters, the narratives, he was finally able to shut all of that up and win his 4th championship. And if he does not win another championship, we will always remember the year where Steph was able to prove all the haters wrong and officially become one of the greatest players of all time.
You know, a lot of conversations about who we were as a team and what we were capable of, and clearly remember some experts and talking heads putting up we hear all that and you carry it all and try to maintain your purpose, not let it distract you, but you carry that weight, and to get here, it all comes out. So it's special.